Hey everybody, it is Wintermute. Okay, so not one to mince words and waste time. I'll cut right to the core of the issue. I'm stepping away from Crimsontide. Now, I could give you some bullshit excuse about my health being poor or family emergency and things of that nature, but I'm not going to lie to the viewers. I'm not going to lie to myself. I'm not going to lie to anybody who's involved in Crimsontide. The reason I'm stepping away is because there is one player in particular who is absolutely abusive and toxic to several of the other players. Now, most of the toxicity is aimed at me for reasons. Now, I have a suspicion of what those reasons are, but I'm not going to speculate without any evidence. Um, but at the end of the day, this is a real shame that this has to be done, but it does have to be done. This player was abusive towards me before the game even started. I could barely even communicate with this player in a jovial, joking kind of way without being literally yelled and screamed at. I still have the messages. So yeah, I guarantee you would be shocked to hear them. So this went on for a while, and it was just like, okay, stop, just stop. And there was various intervention efforts made by some of the other players to kind of curb this, because I'm not somebody who's going to remain in an abusive situation. I spent years on the force helping people get out of abusive situations, and so I had to ask myself, what the hell am I doing here? Not only is this just not fun for me. Well, it's not fun for it's not fun when I interact with this person. The other players are fine, but this person is just absolutely beyond the pale. So I need to remove myself from this situation, because what happened was as things went on, it got to the point where I asked the rest of the players, hey, look, we need to ask this person to leave. They need to be asked to leave the group. I've got a lot of gaming experience of different venues and types of gaming, and I've watched and seen and helped kick players out of a group and remove them from the group for behavior far less than this. If anybody were to sit down at a table with this person and witness firsthand this behavior at that table, I can't imagine not asking them, not just saying, leave right now, just go before things get any worse. Just go, please go. We don't even have to explain ourselves. Your behavior alone is horrendous enough. Maybe we can talk to you later once you've had a chance to cool down. So why this shouldn't be any different. This shouldn't be any different. So I put it forth to the group that this person should be asked to leave. Ultimately, what ended up was and I was dead serious. I wasn't trying to be cute or anything like that. I was dead serious when I said this. They should be asked to leave, because this is a toxic, abusive environment, predominantly aimed at me, but sometimes aimed at my partner as well. And so ultimately what happened was, when the tallies were done, there was me, I voted yes, ask that player to leave. That player voted against, so it was one yay, one nay. And then the other four players chose to abstain for whatever reason. And I called what was going to happen. I said, well, okay, look, this is what's going to happen is moving forward. Everything will be calm and cool until something triggers this person again for reasons we can't comprehend and predict. And God, we shouldn't be having to walk on eggshells around this person. So ultimately, this will be revisiting this again. And sure as hell, less than 2 weeks later, here we are again. The abusive, the language, the accusations, the personal attacks, the paranoid delusions that this person is putting forward it's very, very troubling behavior to have to be subjected to. And quite frankly, I can't imagine anybody putting up with it, in their normal day-to-day life, let alone, putting up with it in something that you're supposed to enjoy doing. So ultimately, it was a stalemate, and here we are again. We're dealing with it again, and there were efforts made by some players to kind of get in there and kind of be like, stop, and look, please Wintermute, maybe you need to can you please do this to kind of maybe settle things down. Now, I did not necessarily agree with some of the things that I was asked to do, because I wasn't the problem. Being the person who's standing up to the bully you are not the problem. You are the solution. And in a situation like this, and in a broader sense, this brings up a extremely important issue in gaming in general, okay? And that is, should you be asked to suffer through an abusive situation, a toxic situation, and suffer the insults and attacks of a bully, so that other people can enjoy playing the game? Because they're not his victims. You're his victim, but they don't have to deal with it firsthand. So you need to just suck it up so I can enjoy the game. Let me tell you right now, that is unacceptable. I will not put up with that. That is, I do not believe, on a fundamental core level, I do not believe it is appropriate to ask somebody to suffer so you benefit. They can choose to put themselves in that situation, but don't ever ask me to suffer so you can benefit. Because you don't want to deal with the problem. And that's what this boils down to. Well, that's a lot of the core here. There was some effort made to kind of diplomatically solve things. But it just wasn't working. The person in question absolutely is you never know what's going to set them off. You never know what's going to set them off. It's like a roller coaster. And so the simplest thing could have done it. So at this point, I'm stepping away from Crimsontide. Now, this really, really, really sucks for the other players who are involved. And I'm going to, but I don't feel an obligation here because there was not a strong enough effort made by the other players to stop this. And I do not have to suffer through this. Okay? I don't have to, it's not like I didn't push back. Oh, I pushed back. I have a moral imperative. I feel it's a moral imperative that if you are capable of standing up to a bully, you need to do it. Because if your action standing up to that person is what ends their behavior, and so there's no more victims after that, I stand tall with that conviction. I stand proud of that conviction. And I've lived by that motto. And sometimes I will fight the fight that other people won't, because it's the right thing to do. Even if it's an uphill struggle, I will do that. Okay, you can talk with my coworkers. I'll get them on this channel. My former coworkers, when I was on the force, they'll tell you stories about how I will dig in and fight the good fight. I'm proud of that. I can look at myself in the mirror because of that. Did I expect to be having to do that at this point in a fucking board game? No, which is even more ridiculous. But it has to be done. It has to be done, because I'm going to say right now that anybody who wants to play with me, I won't put up with this. Okay. Now, I'm not going to go into the nitty-gritty details. Okay. But let me put my money where my mouth is. Let me do that for you. I have a huge chunk of the conversations where things got nasty saved. If for no other reason, so the guys in the local gaming store can stay up on the drama. They're getting a kick out of it. So is my girlfriend. Excuse me. So I have this saved now. My messages included, even the ones where I can get a little pissy and I don't necessarily handle it the best way. I will be more than happy. Well, I'm not more than happy. I will be comfortable and sleep soundly at night posting every single one of them online for people to listen to. Can the toxic bullies say that? They don't want that to happen. They don't want that to happen at all. So just to be clear, even at my worst during all this, I am very comfortable that I handled it the right way by taking the high road. And in this case, the high road, the correct thing to do is to stand up against the bully, to stand up against the toxic player and say, no, this is unacceptable behavior and you should be kicked from this group completely. Why anybody would put up with this is unsettling. But honestly, his behavior, believe me, I've been called worse things by better men over my lifetime. So his behavior, it's more just like, are you seriously doing this? All right. But for me, the real turning point was when there was not enough action taken to end this. To end it. And to ensure, because I of course I do feel some obligation to the rest of my teammates and the rest of the players in the group who are not a cause of the problem to continue to play and look for a solution. Yeah, of course, and I tried, but they didn't, some of them did not feel the same to reciprocate for me and say, you know what, we also have an obligation to make sure that this is not a hostile, toxic gaming environment rather than just standing on the sidelines and hoping nothing happens. Because for whatever reasons, there are reasons why either they're acclimated to it or whatever the case is, but again, I have all the recordings. And I'll be happy to release them, and to only to show the behavior and my response and my expectation. I'm perfectly comfortable releasing all of them. I would sleep soundly at night, and I'll just put it out there, and I'll let the general public decide. Is this behavior that you would put up with? Is this behavior that you would allow to happen within your gaming group consistently? Numerous times from before the game even started. And I am very confident that the vast majority of people would say, well, no, of course not. You probably were far more patient than you should have been. You should have put your foot down sooner. Now, this is a new gaming group for me overall, even though I know some of the players from previous interactions. And I said, and there's a lot of factors that go into it. It's not a simple thing, but at the end of the day, it does boil down to, I don't need to put up with this. So I'm just not. So, you will get people who will say, oh, well, the Axis were winning. So, that's why it's like, really, if that were the case, I would just say, I'm not, my tummy's upset. I'm going to have to drop out. No. I'm tackling this issue head on for the benefit of the gaming, all of gaming. I feel compelled to bring a spotlight and shine it down on this issue, because that's really the most effective way to deal with horrible people is shine a spotlight on their behavior and let everybody see it, because they know, if people really know what I'm doing, I'm done. My public persona is shattered. But so long as people are permissive about my behavior off camera and my bullying and my toxicity off camera, well, I'll just get away with that, and then I'll present a different image to the public. So there you have it. I'm stepping away from Crimsontide. I feel bad for the other players, but this has to be done. This has to be done. The line has to be drawn in the sand. It has to be. I'm standing up right now saying this is inappropriate. This is inappropriate to expect me to suffer through these abuses. And anybody says, oh, you're being too sensitive. Really? Let me play you the tapes. Let me play them for you. Privately, not publicly. This isn't something to put out. I'm only going to go so far. There's a certain point. It's like, okay, I'm going to explain the situation. Okay. And I feel that that's where it should end. Because, and some people will be offended that I'm airing internal laundry. I'm like, no, I'm airing it because that's the best way to solve it. Because there is no way to solve it internally. There isn't. That was tried numerous times. But the person has to, your actions have consequences, and here they are. And I know there might be some fallout for me moving forward with this, but you know what? I've walked into I filed formal complaints with the Bar Association over the behavior of defense attorneys during a hearing or during a recess at a court trial, who approached me inappropriately and said inappropriate things to me and did inappropriate behavior towards me because they didn't like me. The defense attorney personally kind of like attacked me, not physically, but attacked me during a recess. And I filed a complaint with the Bar Association. So do you really think that some rando, gamer guy, scares me at all? Not even remotely. I've been through way worse than this. I've testified in federal court. I've swung in the big leagues, buddy. So no, this is ridiculous. And for anybody else who's in a similar situation, I'm telling you right now, put your foot down, go find a different group if the people within your group will not stand up to the bully. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. Don't let that happen to yourself. Don't let yourself be victimized. And don't let people who should know better and take action stand by and do nothing. When they should, when they absolutely should, have stepped up and said, this ends. This ends right now. Let me clarify, I'm disabling comments below because this is a very factual kind of thing that I'm putting out there. Everything I've stated can be backed up with documentation and events. I am, of course there's a little bit of opinion here, but I'm not some, fresh-faced rookie who doesn't know any better. Okay. I do know better because I've dealt with bullies my entire life. Okay. That's half the fun of being on the force is dealing with bullies and putting them in their place. And so here we are. Why this is happening in a gaming group over a board game? Beyond me. Beyond me that it would get to this point over a board game. Quite frankly, I mean, it is just a game. And to be attacked on such a personal based level over decisions made during a board game, yeah. So as far as I'm concerned, once this video is done, this issue is done. I'm not going to talk about it anymore unless there's something drastic happens. And I'm not going to discuss it any deeper with the community as a whole. I'm going to go talk with the individual players before I post this video, who I would all play with again. The only person in this group that I would not play with again is the problem child. No. Maybe in 10 years, once they've matured enough, sure, not a problem. We'll give it another go. But all the other players are great, even though on occasion maybe we graded each other the wrong way. That's minor stuff. I would play with them all again, but not that person. So that's it. That's it. I have other projects to move on to. I've got other ways of spending my time that are far more productive. So it's unfortunate that Crimsontide will not be ending with me. How they choose to handle it is completely up to them. But for right now, this is Wintermute out. Happy gaming.